Hello and welcome back to the FootballMartin Channel. It's a special reaction video. I'm talking transfer reaction today in this video. So all my reactions to different transfer news, not just Southampton. A lot of it will have links to Saints, but it's going to be more than just Southampton, this transfer chat. And I want to talk about some interesting stories that have popped up today, Friday, the 31st of January. Welcome along to my channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do smash a like on the video first and foremost. Subscribe and share it with a friend. If you know somebody that may love my content, share the channel, share the love. It would mean the absolute world to me. Building a really amazing channel here and thoroughly enjoying it. Right, coming up on today's reaction video, we've got Alcaraz, who was at Southampton. Charlie Alcaraz, he's making a return to England, this time with Everton. We're going to be chatting about that. Stuart Armstrong, ex-Southampton midfielder, he's back in England and he's returned to Sheffield Wednesday. There's a little bit of chat around Sam Amo-Ameyaw and a little bit of breaking news that I'm going to bring to you on that one as well. Going to reflect on Ferguson to Chelsea. That's a story that's been doing the rounds today. There's also a couple of other bits and bobs that I'm going to chuck into the show and get your opinions on. And the most important thing is to get involved in the chat as well and give me your thoughts to some of these stories that we're going to chat about. Well, we will kick off with the breaking news this afternoon for Everton fans, that is, that they've looked to have an ex-Southampton player head into Goodison Park. Charlie Alcaraz is back in the Premier League, a player that was desperate to stay and play in the Premier League. There wasn't any doubt about that. When we got relegated, he wanted to stay and play in the Premier League, and he made no secret of that neither. He stayed because they couldn't agree a deal and played under Russell Martin. And Russell Martin wasn't a manager for Alcaraz by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a good little player. He had moments, I thought, of brilliance at Southampton. Whether he's an Everton player, well, a Moyes Everton player, I'm not sure he is. Is he a real grafter that's going to go and make tons of tackles? He can get a bit nasty at times and a bit physical, but you'd have to really work hard in a David Moyes side that don't often see loads of the ball. He's the sort of player that wants to pick up the ball and run with it and travel. Got a great shot on him. As we see, we saw that goal against Leicester that he scored in the Premier League last time round. It was a good goal. And he had those flashes of absolute brilliance, but he had those moments where he just sulked and he wasn't quite, he wasn't quite at the races. Whether he can make an impact in the Premier League at Everton, it'll be very interesting. It's a big opportunity for him. He's on loan from Flamengo, where he went last January. He's been there for a year. He's come back, and it's a big opportunity. He went off to Juve, didn't he, before? He had a period of time at Juve. That didn't work out for him. I can't remember, when did he go to Juve? I can't remember what it was, but it didn't work out for him there. I thought it was maybe a step too far, that one. But look, he's back in the Premier League. Whether he's going to go there and score loads of goals, I highly doubt it. But Alcaraz is back in the Prem. What were your thoughts on him? Should Southampton have kept him? Loads of people on social media saying, oh, yeah, it's unbelievable, he's back in the Prem. Wish we had a player like him. We've ended up with Mateus Fernandes, who's, for me, a better player anyway, technically a better player, works a lot harder, better on the ball, better attitude. Think we've got an upgrade in a player, in my personal opinion, on that one. Before we go on to the Stuart Armstrong story, I want to talk about Sam Amo-Ameyaw, the youngster at Southampton. It's been reported for a couple of days that he's probably going to leave on loan before Monday's deadline. There are clubs in for him now. Stoke, Swansea and Cardiff, and also Derby County have made inquiries apparently for him. That's from a good source. He was due to play, and I said it was a bit of breaking news. He was due to play for the under-21s tonight. I'm recording this at just before 7 o'clock, and Alfie House has tweeted that he was named to start that game and he's been withdrawn for some reason. So he was going to play for the under-21s tonight at Staplewood, and they haven't given a reason why, but he is withdrawn from the starting 11. He's not involved in the squad. So I'd imagine he will go. Reaction to him going, let him go and develop and play some football. Would I kept him and given him an opportunity? I think he's better than some of the players we've got at the moment. Whether it could cause him a bit of damage, coming into a side that's getting beaten all the time, maybe. But we're going to the Championship. So go and let him play in the Championship side where he could really look to develop and get ready for the Championship. I think he's win-win. Just put him at the right club. That's all I'd say. Is hopefully he makes the right move. But it'd be key for us next year. It'd be really, really important player for us next season. There's no doubt about that. Right, I said at the top of the show we were talking about ex-Saint players coming back to England. Well, one's come back to the Premier League in Alcaraz, and another one's come back to the Championship, and that is Stuart Armstrong. He moved to America to play in the MLS, but he moved to Canada. He went to Vancouver Whitecaps. 32 years old. He's still quite young, really, for a player to be going to America. Look, he's a really good player for me. I think he's outstanding. I would have liked to have seen him stay. Whether he would have been a Premier League player, I don't know. But he's better than a lot of what we got at the moment. So a bit torn on that. But I think he's brilliant. He played 191 games for Saints. Didn't realise that until I saw an article today. 6 seasons he was with us, long period of time. He knows Danny Röhl from his early time at Southampton when Ralph Hasenhüttl was the Saints manager. And look, he took a while to get going at Saints, but when he was brilliant, he was brilliant. And when he gets runs of games, I think he's a brilliant signing for Wednesday in the Championship. We know how good he was for Saints. So any Wednesday fans watching this video, you've got a gem on your hands. You really do. Brilliant bit of business. Him and Charles, 2 quality players that we all know really, really, really well. And you'll be pushing playoffs. I think you've got a great manager. He's good. You just might need to get him a load of games under his belt. And that would be the biggest thing, is getting him match fit. And once he gets match fit, he can become a really good player. He's not going to go pressing teams. He likes to pick the ball up and travel with it. He's got good vision. He's got good passing. His range of passing is brilliant, I think. Likes to play in that hole behind the front players. Picks the ball up and he's just like, I think he's a really good player. I enjoyed him. I was gutted he missed out on the playoff final. I was there that day. He got injured at Cardiff in the Championship at the back end of last season, and was gutted for him. Obviously, he went to the playoff final, just missed out because his injury wasn't quite healed. But for him to go to America to play on a lot of artificial pitches, I thought it was a strange move at the time. And Armstrong could make his debut this Saturday. They are playing Luton Town in the Championship, our Sheffield Wednesday. And he said that he was grateful for his time at Vancouver. Loads of kindness, but it's a big decision for him and his family. But they've decided to come back to England. So obviously he didn't settle for whatever reason. Like I said, he probably didn't like those artificial pitches. They're not particularly nice to play on, are they? So I think he's a brilliant signing for you, Sheffield Wednesday fans. You've got an absolute gem on your hands. Another player that was linked with Saints when Russell Martin became the manager was Matt Grimes. I see that he's left Swansea, been linked with moves away for a long time. Coventry, though, they've announced the signing of Matt Grimes from Swansea. Undisclosed fee, that one. 29 now, Matt Grimes. He signed a 3.5-year deal at the Sky Blues. Good signing for them. From when I see him, he's a decent little player, to be fair. Moves the ball. He joined from Exeter 2015 and he made 305 appearances at Swansea. That's some going, isn't it? Done brilliant for Russell Martin, who rated him highly. He was linked with Saints a lot. But yeah, good for him. I think it's a good move for Coventry. Be interesting to see how we fare against Coventry when we play them next season. Bit of Premier League transfer chat now, bit of reaction chat. Everton Ferguson, he was linked with Saints, never going to come to Southampton in a month of Sundays, but it looks like Brighton and Hove Albion are potentially going to loan him out. Chelsea are monitoring him. Interesting, I only saw that on Sky Sports today. Apparently they've been fond of him for a while now. Talking about permanent, possibly a loan. But I didn't realise that they reckon Christopher Nkunku is going to leave before the deadline at Chelsea, and they need some backup for Nicholas Jackson. Be an interesting one. But one club I did think that would go in for him would be West Ham, who are struggling for a striker at the moment. Loads of clubs need a striker. Everton are one of those as well. They've got Calvert-Lewin, who's picked up an injury. Look, I thought Ferguson could go there as well. You know, he's not getting loads of game time, is he, at Brighton and Hove Albion? João Pedro ahead of him, Danny Welbeck, they always seem to be ahead of him, and he's not getting any game time. So it will be interesting to see where he goes. I do think he'd get a loan. I think it's a good signing for anybody. If we had been in a position to sign him, you would have been all over that, wouldn't you? Because he's a really, really good player. When he's on song, he's absolutely quality, isn't he? Massive fan of his. He will go on and do really, really well, no doubt about that. And the other big story that I want to touch upon on my channel, Marcus Rashford, totally not related to the club I support, but I'm a football fan. I love my football, and I want to get your thoughts on it as well. What do Man United do with Marcus Rashford? They reckon, I read today, there's talk of him being on £350,000 a week, and he's sitting in the stands. How bizarre is that? Such a good player when he's on it, but it looks so unhappy. I've never seen a player look so unhappy when he was playing. And maybe he's got stuff going on off the pitch, but he's got so much potential to be such a good player. And you just don't want one of those situations where his career just spirals. And you've seen professional players do it, haven't you? They've not taken the right move, and their careers have just crumbled. But I was thinking about this today. If he was to stay in the Premier League and play for anybody, a club that's just got a load of money at the moment is Aston Villa from that sale of John Duran. Wouldn't that be a great signing for Aston Villa? Really kick them on in the back end of the season, wouldn't it? Whether they can afford to pull it off, the wages is going to put so many clubs off. But there's loads of talk about him going overseas. Man United, are they really going to let a player sit on the bench that's getting paid 350 grand a week doing nothing? It's absolutely ridiculous. And look, I know Dele Alli had loads of issues outside of his football career, and it was horrible what he went through at a really difficult time mentally. You just hope that someone's going to get hold of Rashford and get him back on the right direction. Need someone to mentor him, look after him, and hopefully he can find that form again and find his love for football again, because it would be really sad. I just think he's such a good. I think he's such a good player. Such a good player, and that's. I'd just love to get your thoughts on it. Where next for him? Where does he go? Does he stay in the Premier League, or does he end up overseas? That wraps up everything I wanted to talk about in the transfer. My transfer reaction video today. I'm going to do a couple more of these over the weekend and into Monday as well. It's deadline day Monday. I'm not sure there's going to be loads happening at our football club, Southampton. I think it's going to be quiet. There's Cameron Archer. I wanted to talk about Cam Archer before I went. Somebody tweeted me today and said, it's all paper talk. You know that, don't you, Martin? I was like, I do talk to a lot of people in the game. I'm not going to bother replying, but it's not paper talk. Leeds are going to come back in for him. The manager's come out and said that he's in his plans. Is he really? Managers, they don't always talk the truth. Let's be quite honest about it. If they get the right offer, they'll let him go. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Whether they got someone lined up to come in, I don't know. Don Ballard come back, but he's gone straight back out, hasn't he? Anyway, so we're so light on the ground in the striker department. It's depressing being a Southampton fan. At the time of recording, it's Friday. It's Ipswich tomorrow. I'm heading there. So if you want to get all the reaction from Portman Road tomorrow, make sure you go give the channel a follow, subscribe to the channel, smash a like on this video, and if you're not following me on TikTok, head over on TikTok, give me a follow on there. Literally within 5 to 10 minutes of the final whistle going, depending on internet, obviously, I will put a reaction video up on all my platforms, so you can get a bit of a feeling what it was like from a fan that was there, that's not that's just giving it from a fan's point of view. It'd be emotional, probably, no doubt. Right. Thank you for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure. Have the best weekend. I'll see you again in another video, which will be the matchday vlog, which will be out tomorrow evening, Saturday.